We're now joined by the man who crafted President Trump's shortlist, Leonard Leo, on leave now from the Federalist Society, also now the president's top Supreme Court advisor. So I guess I have to start out asking, has the president made a decision?
Well, it's his prerogative to tell everybody that. But I'll tell you this. What drives the president in this process is that he made the Supreme Court a huge issue in the election, more than any other presidential candidate. He greatly enthused voters over it. And it was one of the big factors that led to his election and holding the U.S. Senate. And so he kept that momentum going with Neil Gorsuch, and now he's got another opportunity to do it again.
Everyone coming from the list that you helped craft at the Federalist Society, our best reporting is that the president's down to 4 finalists, including Brett Kavanaugh. Court of Appeals in D.C., also worked in the George W. Bush White House, facing some conservative opposition. Senators Rand Paul, Ted Cruz, Tom Cotton, all raising concerns. Ken Cuccinelli, the former Attorney General of the state of Virginia, said this: he looks, walks, and quacks like John Roberts Jr. The Bush lives loudly in Kavanaugh. Are you concerned about that conservative opposition mounting to Brett Kavanaugh?
Every nominee before announcement, every potential nominee before announcement gets concerns expressed about them by people who might ultimately support them. People aren't always familiar with their records. Sometimes people say things about one nominee because they favor another. I think what you can say about what's going on right now, talk about Brett Kavanaugh, Amy Barrett, Thomas Hardiman, Raymond Catholic, who I assume are the 4.
Those are the 4, yeah.
Look, they're all extraordinarily distinguished people. Certainly, Brett Kavanaugh and Amy Barrett have a lot of name recognition amongst supporters of the president, amongst people. And I think that ultimately, when people like them are nominated, you'll see a lot of folks line up.
You didn't mention the 2 that, according to the New York Times, Senator Mitch McConnell has said would have an easier road to confirmation, Raymond Catholic and Thomas Hardiman. Is it true that Senator McConnell has warned the president that Kavanaugh and Barrett would have a tougher time getting confirmed?
Well, I think that, first of all, with regard to Ray Catholic and Tom Hardiman, they're a little bit less known by conservatives, and their records are a little bit lighter, so it might take some time.
Is that an advantage, though?
Well, it depends. I mean, remember, the president ran on the Supreme Court issue, and that greatly enthused voters. So it is important to have people who are extremely well-known and have distinguished records.
Well, one of the, our next guest, Senator Richard Blumenthal, is raising the question, is saying that this should be put off until after the midterms, after the Mueller investigation is completed, because it would be improper for the president to someone who may have jurisdiction over his investigation. How do you respond to that argument?
I think that's a red herring. There are always issues that an executive branch and president deal with on a regular basis that are extraordinarily important and controversial, and we don't hold up Supreme Court nominations or confirmations for those.
The other big issue, of course, that is energizing so much opposition right now is the fear among Democrats, among progressives, that whoever the president appoints is going to overturn Roe v. Wade. Is it fair to say that anyone who made it onto your list is likely to be an opponent of Roe v. Wade?
No. First of all, nobody really knows. We've been talking about this for 36 years, going all the way back to the nomination of Sandra O'Connor. And after that 36-year period, we only have a single individual on the court who has expressly said he would overturn Roe. So I think it's a bit of a scare tactic and rank speculation more than anything else.
But that comes from your allies as well. I want to read from Ed Whalen, who wrote in the National Review, "No one has been more dedicated to the enterprise of building a Supreme Court that will overturn Roe v. Wade than the Federalist Society's Leonard Leo." That has been your goal.
My goal, first and foremost, has always been to find people serve on the court who believe in the Constitution as it's written. And that's really ultimately what drives the conservative legal movement. You want judges on the court who understand that the best way to preserve freedom and dignity and prosperity in this country is to have people who are going to interpret the Constitution as it's written and not play politics when they're judges.
Are you confident that anyone the president nominates tomorrow night can get confirmed before the midterms, that the Democrats would not be able to hold up the nomination until after the midterms?
I'm very confident with this president's enthusiasm and with Leader McConnell's enthusiasm that they can get anybody confirmed.